Hi guys, welcome to the Funny Thing Is podcast. I am your host, Nicole Birch, where every week I bring you someone who shares their trauma, the medicine they took to heal, and the funniest thing they learned along the way. Today is no exception. I've got a very special guest for you today. She's a very successful voiceover artist and very good sister of mine, Sara Cravens.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. And also, I could go on IMDb and tell everybody what you do. Why don't you tell them some of the voices you do? Because there's 8,000 of them. So,
right?
Your main ones.
In video game world, Mortal Kombat, Star Wars, Injustice 2, God of War, anime, One Punch Man, Erased, the Prince of Tennis that just came out. I saw these episodes. Disney, I'm on Big City Greens. I've done a million commercials, and I do a lot of promo. So
Yes.
I tell you what's on TV that night, whatever.
Yeah, and
anyway,
if you're
lots
just,
of things.
And if you're just listening and not watching this on your socials, you can already tell by her voice why she's so successful, because it is the best voice, right? It's also the best voice. What did I have you send me a voiceover of? Oh, I was going through a hard time, and I was like, I'm getting ready to go on a date, and I don't know what
pep talk.
And I needed a pep talk. And so she gave me a pep talk voice recording that I could take home. And it was literally the sexiest, most soothing voice. And I was like, oh, I've got this in the bag. That's the type of friend she is too. So, so let's get to it. I got a question.
I love it.
What event happened in your life that was life-changing?
My mom got sick with stage 5 kidney failure.
Holy, stage 5. I didn't even know there was a 5th stage.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
it's the worst one. And we didn't know anything about anything until it was stage 5. So there was no time to prep.
No, what were her symptoms? What was like?
There were 0 symptoms.
Oh my God.
0 symptoms. She was perfectly fine. She was actually out in LA visiting me. We were sitting outside on my back porch.
Yeah.
And my mom has a call, and we picked it up, and it was from her doctor in Tennessee. That was like, oh, we just like ran like your blood work, and anyway, we're just calling to tell you that you're in stage 5 kidney failure. Your kidneys are at, it was like something like they're functioning at like 13%.
Holy
and
cow.
Maybe you have like a couple weeks or like a month. Like, I'm not kidding how disgustingly morbid this message was. And I was just like, what? Both of us, like, it was like we couldn't even process the horror of.
That's so weird that there's not even any symptoms. It's all done from blood work.
So always check your blood work and your kidney function, because the wonderful thing. I basically, through this process, but I know so much about the kidneys now. So if you do not let it get below like 20%, you can stabilize, and you don't need a kidney transplant. You wouldn't have to go on dialysis. Like, you can stabilize kidney function. You just can't regain it. But once it gets below about 15-20%, there's nothing you can do at that point. You have to get a kidney transplant, or you have to go on dialysis.
Oh my God. So you found that out. What was the next step?
Well, because I'm quite I pride myself on being like, lemonade glass half full. So I was like, okay, everything's good, Mom. Like, we're fine. Like, we'll figure it out, whatever.
Right.
And then I went upstairs, and I started bawling.
I was going to say, where's the breakdown?
Yeah. I immediately started bawling, and I called my doctor out here, who I love very much. And I was like, and I thought I was calling the office, and I don't know why I had her cell phone number, but I did. I accidentally called her cell phone, so she picked it up. I'm bawling, and I was like, this just happened, and they said my mom had like 2 weeks to live, and I'm not okay with this. And anyway, she was like, calm down, tell me exactly what was said. And so then I told her what the message relayed, and she said, I have a different opinion, and so, okay, let's deal with this. I have a different opinion. I don't think your mom has like weeks or months to live, and let's move forward. And she was like, I have this really great I have this really great acupuncturist in my office that is doing some really amazing things with people. Um, I'm gonna call her if that's okay with you. I'm gonna call her and have her give you a call and you can chat
Right.
about it. And then that's how I met Cherie.
Oh, Cherie. Oh,
Ah,
Cherie. You introduced me to Cherie
ah,
when I was,
what a
yeah,
goddess.
yeah,
What a goddess.
yeah.
Cherie Nicole Conrad, you are a goddess. I
She
am,
is. Yeah, highly recommend. Highly
yeah.
recommend.
I'm like tearing up just thinking about her and how she literally like
Turned everything around.
she saved so many people's lives.
Yeah.
Literally.
So what was her form of treatment with your mom? Or like how did that start?
So the first thing that I want to say is like everything about the way we that doctors do things in our country is so wrong.
Yeah.
Everything is wrong. Um uh we go in once a year. You go in for your checkup and you're there for what 8 minutes, and they're like, oh, okay, like they look at a chart, like they're not even looking at you,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, it's fine. Oh, maybe your sugar's high or your cholesterol's high or like whatever, and they're
Here's a
like, we'll
pill.
just watch it, or
Yeah. Or here's
they
a pill.
give you a
Yeah.
pill or
Yeah.
something like that. um so this was I remember exactly, like it's burned into my memory. This was like a Thursday morning that we get this call. By Thursday afternoon, Cherie had called me and was like, Dr. Coop called me and I think I can help. Like I have some acupuncture treatments that act like stimulate like your kidneys and warm your kidneys and we're not we're not going to let you lose your mom. And so that was like on a Thursday afternoon that she has me come in. She has a full day on Friday, but she's like, I'll come in early. So Friday morning, she comes in an hour and a half before she starts with other sessions. And for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
not 8 minutes. She doesn't look at a chart. An hour and a half, she asks my mom everything about herself and like what's going on and what she's feeling. And meanwhile, like there are no symptoms. Like she's
Right.
not feeling bad. There's nothing. But anyway, she goes through all this stuff and she was like, okay, I want to, I want to do some acupuncture with you. And I also like have some ideas like nutrition wise.
Yep.
And so we started on like an acupuncture program and we went vegan.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to get people informed. So I don't remember where you were in this process, but you introduced me to Cherie because I found out I had Hashimoto's after having Everly. And I was really sick. And you go, just try it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I've tried acupuncture before. It doesn't really work. And I will say that it took 6 months and she had cured 9 out of 10 of my symptoms. Unfucking believable. And then all of our friends started going to her.
Yes.
There was like a line in the lobby. There was 3 girls in the same lobby and they're like, you guys, we're all in the lobby. What is happening? Like it's like our trio's already here.
It is. Thank you, Mom. You're saving everyone's lives.
When she said diet, I was like, really? And then you start to do, and I'd already done a deep dive into like the medicine they wanted to put me on, that they were like, you're going to be on this forever, which by the way, I'm not on any medication anymore, thanks to Cherie.
Yep.
You're going to be on this medication the rest of your life. And they never even told me to give up gluten, which was the #1 intolerant if you have Hashimoto's. They never even said it. Not one endocrinologist I've ever been to has ever said that, which makes me seethe.
I mean, but see, that's what's so normal and egregious about the whole thing is that like most often kidneys are affected by diabetes and high blood pressure.
Right.
Those are affected by what you eat. Those are
Yes.
You get diabetes and now listen, there are some forms that you're born with, but when you develop diabetes, it's sugars, it's and high blood pressure. There's so much that you can do with nutrition, and we're just not taught that because in our country, you don't make money if people eat well and are healthy. We don't.
Well, the fact that the Food and Drug Administration are together is ridiculous. Because why would you create healthy food? Because then you would need no drugs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a TikTok I saw the other day that said when you go into a hospital, and this is so true, and this bothers the fuck out of me. Whenever you go into a hospital and you're there to get better, the food that they give you, they'll give you that apple juice that is completely made from concentrate. It's
Complete
like
all
39
sugar.
grams of
Just
sugar, which you already know is a toxin and causes inflammation.
Yeah.
Which causes sickness. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Everything's so backwards, dude.
Well, it's just it's
cyclical.
this
Cyclical.
of like, let's keep them sick, give them drugs, we all keep making money.
Yeah.
So what I loved, another thing on the call that we got that like set this whole thing into motion was just like, she's just gonna have to go on dialysis immediately. And you know, and I talked to my mom and she was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go on dialysis. And so I was like, okay, so let's not.
Let's not.
So we go vegan. And not like not smoothly. It was very abrupt because
you guys are from Tennessee.
Oh yes.
Meat eaters.
Oh,
barbecue.
We're the worst of everything.
Yeah.
Like, we just eat trash.
Yeah.
Like, just garbage food that is delicious. I mean, I still love gravy and biscuits.
Yeah.
But we're garbage.
Yeah.
And where I do think like Tennessee comes into it is that like doing acupuncture and going vegan is such a like California
hippie
like
juju,
hippie kind of thing. And what was interesting about like how many people this affected, because we're talking about like how many of our friends this affected in Los Angeles, how many family members this affected of mine in Tennessee, that if it was me that got sick and I went vegan and I did acupuncture, then it would be like, oh, whatever, Sarah's all California now. But since it was my mom and they literally saw her get better.
They saw it. They have to see it.
Then they're just like, well, we can't deny this. And so then they started like changing eating habits and like looked into acupuncture. And unfortunately, there's
not enough out there.
There's just not the available. But so what we did, which is like what the way things should happen, I think, just like doing all of this with Cherie, nutrition and acupuncture, it's literally looking at everyone's body and being individually,
yeah,
and saying, this is what you're putting into your body, and this is how your personal body is responding.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's so beautiful about that is that like we are all individuals. Like, we're not all just the same chart.
Yeah.
And so she took a look at my mom's. I got my mom's most recent like blood tests, and so she took a look at all these levels, and she was like, okay, this is heightened here, and this is heightened, and these all affect your kidneys. So let's take this down, and let's do, I could go into like phosphorus levels and potassium levels and all of this stuff. I did at one point. This is great. We went. I got a nephrologist out here at Cedars that I wanted to like see my mom. And so I got her an appointment and we went in there and we sat down, and I kid you not, I talked for like 10 minutes before I even let the doctor talk. And I was like, okay, so here's the thing, and this is what I've been doing, and I got this, and I got, and this level's up now, and then, but I did this, and she's eating this now, and blah, 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 blah. And I stopped talking. And I kid you not, nephrologist at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles goes, honey, do you want a job? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He was like, what do you do? And I was like, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
I'm an actor. I don't know anything about kidneys, but I know everything about kidneys because I looked all of this up now, and it's my mom, and I'm going to save her life.
There's an interesting dynamic because they say don't, over Google stuff because you don't want to go down a rabbit hole on WebMD, right? Like, and I understand that. But I don't understand, like, if my daughter had what I had, I would know, if she were my kid, I would know every fucking thing about that illness. Give me 24 hours. I'm not sleeping until I know everything.
Oh, I didn't.
But most people do not advocate for themselves because they don't know that they can.
So here's the other thing. I agree with you. I think like people don't, these are huge problems. Like, I'm turning this into the problem with our medical industry. But I think the biggest things are people don't know they can advocate for themselves. They don't know they can tell that doctor, no.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not what I choose. One, they don't know they can advocate for themselves. And two, they are so overwhelmed with the information that they are getting that it kind of freezes you, and that's why you need like a mad little hornet as a daughter who's like, well, no, we're not doing this, and I'm going to learn about the kidneys, and I'm going to basically get, you know, a master's degree in kidneys in 2 weeks. So we change everything that she eats for 2 weeks. I am like drill sergeant, like strict, like will not, like no cheating on anything. And I'm like, I'm doing it with you. Like I'm gonna do it with you. Yeah. I was like, we're not. This is just how we eat in this house now.
Right.
Girl, I've never felt better in my life.
I know. I hate to admit it. I did a whole bit on making fun of people that were gluten-free but not celiac. I was like, that's not even a real thing. I had a whole bit. And then the second I gave that shit up, I gave it up for 30 days. I tried it on day 1. I blew up like a fucking balloon, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Can't do gluten.
Never felt better in my life. And it's not like I grew up playing basketball. Like I played sports and stuff. So it's not like my body is averse to working out, but like I'm telling you, 2 weeks of being vegan, my body felt better than any workout I've ever done in my life.
It's like when they say 90% diet, I think it's like 99, because it's like, oh, it'll change everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to say this. I do eat meat now.
Yeah.
Because I think this is important too. I hate that there are these camps. This is what I didn't like about most vegans. I don't want to like, you know, because I think it's like, if you don't do this exact, like, then you suck and it's all or nothing. And
I'm like, when I was vegan, because I do eat meat now, but I'm going back to vegetarian because that's the only way that I can lose weight.
Yeah.
And it's the only way I can cut down inflammation. But when I was vegetarian, I was like the vegetarian nobody knew was a vegetarian.
Yes.
I was on a date, like date 5 with a guy. And he was like, wait, you're a vegetarian? And he was like giving me shit for it. I was like, it's date 5 and you didn't know. Bro.
Yeah.
I don't care what you eat, man.
Exactly.
Like, who cares? It's just, this is what's good for my body. You do what's good for yours.
Thank you.
That's it.
And that's what it's all, like, that goes back to what we were talking about of like what I love about like the approach Cherie took with my mom of like, this is for your body.
Yeah.
So I go vegan with my mom in solidarity. And then I'm like, probably like close to borderline anemic. Like I have iron problems.
So that's my sister. Yeah.
So
she has to have meat. She has to have meat. Exactly.
So that's the thing. So that's what I don't like about this, like, really snobby kind of pressure. Like, again, I will tell you, I've never felt better in my life than when I was fully vegan. For my body, that's not right.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I would lose energy, and I would, like, I'd have to go get iron infusions every week, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not sustainable for my personal body, but I love it. And so this like all or nothing stuff of like, I think if every person decided one day a week they just like weren't gonna eat meat,
see how it feels.
Their bodies would feel a difference, our climate would feel a difference. Like it matters, and it doesn't, like, okay, go get the fake alternative chicken nuggets at Trader Joe's, whatever. I don't.
That's how they have a lot of shit in them.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, do what you can to take care of your body, and everybody, and everybody's is different.
Yeah, if your body thrives on Oreos 3 meals a day, eat Oreos 3 meals a day. If that's somehow what makes your body thrive, then do it.
I would love to know someone.
I wish that was me.
I wish
oh
it was.
God.
I wish I thrived on chocolate chip cookies. I would love that. Okay. So what in the where am I in the process?
Okay. So tell me.
Yes.
2 weeks. Because I remember we sat down, you go, in just 2 weeks, what happened?
In just 2 weeks, her blood levels had changed so dramatically. And I'm not saying like she made a drastic, like, oh, she made this amazing recovery. Her blood levels were non-diabetic levels.
She was diabetic. She was registered diabetic.
She was diabetic. Her 2 weeks of being vegan, her sugar level was like out of the range of like diabetes.
That's insane, dude.
In 2 weeks. It's insane.
But they make so much money off diabetes. Yeah.
So everything had turned around. And listen, diabetes is like way more intricate than that. So it's not just like after 2 weeks of being vegan, you're not diabetic anymore. there's a lot of stuff like
Yeah,
that's not how that works. What
right.
I'm saying is her blood sugar level was not in the diabetic range anymore, which is amazing after
Right,
2 weeks.
right.
So everything had flipped. So much to the point that was like, you know, you're so excited about it, but it's also devastating because it's like, if we had have been alerted to this before she was in stage 5, she could have just been fine.
Yeah.
We could have stabilized everything. If we'd have found out when she was like at 30% function instead of 13% function,
Yeah.
then she could have been fine.
Right.
And you know, so now everyone like take control of like your health. I am recently turned 40, and I look at all that stuff now because I think, if you know, when my mom was 40, if she had have known this, things would be a lot different now.
Right.
You know, and so 2 weeks of being vegan, and like regular, we were going every other day, 3 days a week,
Right.
every other business day, 3 days a week of acupuncture, and that is what happened.
Yeah.
Incredible, to the point like her doctor in Tennessee was like, what
happened?
What is
What
happening?
did you do? Yeah.
It actually surprised me that they weren't more interested in what she did. It was just like, oh, these look different, and it's like, why aren't you asking me what she did?
Yeah.
So you could tell other.
I had an endocrinologist one time after I'd seen Cherie for like 3 months, and she checked my levels. And my TSH was originally 96. It should be under 2. And Cherie got it in 3 months, got it to like a 4. And she goes, oh, so you're doing better. She goes, and out of the mouth of babes, this is what she said. She goes, man, you're like my only patient that is doing well right now. And I'm like, what what does that say about you?
I guess you're not good at your job.
Then she prescribed me Ozempic, by the way.
Oh, how nice.
And I'm like, no.
Wow.
God, man. I'm on the same boat. Okay, so here's my other question for you.
Yeah.
Because now this puts you in, not only was your mom diagnosed with this, but now this puts you in as the caretaker. And I think a lot of people can relate to this who are caretakers. It is a oftentimes thankless, arduous type of place to be in. So what was Cherie's reaction with you specifically to that?
Caretaking is the most exhausting exhausting thing that anyone can ever go through. And like, you know, I moved out here when I was 22 with nothing, and I worked like 5 jobs, and like, you know, and
this was harder.
This was harder. And my mom and I are best friends. Like I like love her more than anything. I was gonna say I would turn my life around for. I did.
Yeah.
I turned my entire life around because she is my like favorite, best person in the world, and I would do it again and will continue to do it. But it is so exhausting. And so for the caretakers, I say, and I'm still getting better at this.
Because you've moved to
I did.
Tennessee now.
So let me get to. I'll get back to the caretaking thing. So what happened is after 2 weeks there was such dramatic recovery that I was like, whatever. My mom's gonna stay out here. My dad would come out. You know, I called my dad and I was like, this is amazing. Like we're getting so much done. And he was like, cool. She's staying there. I'll come out and visit every month, like whatever. And so my mom stayed here for, I want to say 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we just saved her life. Like we completely saved her life. And I wasn't as hardcore drill sergeant-y. We stayed vegan, but it wasn't like, I mean, I would walk in the kitchen, I'd like slap her hand. Like,
yeah.
So, so she stayed out here for 3 months. We got her really healthy. Went back to the doctor, at Cedars, and he was like, she's in incredible shape. She's like excellent candidate for a kidney transplant. If you do it here, it's like a 7 to 10 year waiting list.
Oh my God.
Tennessee is more like 1 to 3.
Okay.
So then we made the decision, like, she's got to go back to Tennessee. Like we know what to do now.
Right.
Cherie actually looked in Tennessee and called a bunch of like
For
acupuncturists.
acupuncturists.
Like this is what she did.
This is what medical care should feel like.
Yes. And like she did this for us of like looked for someone that did similar to what she did in Tennessee so my mom could continue the care. There just wasn't anyone, but it was like nutritionally we knew what to do and whatever. So my mom went back to Tennessee probably, I don't know how many months after that, but I stayed out here. She went to Tennessee. Not too long after that, I was like, whatever, I'm gonna go back to Tennessee because my mom is better when I'm there. Like I love it and I love her. And so I went back to Tennessee and now I'm bi-coastal.
Yeah, because you still have your place here, yeah.
Yes. So caretaking. So it's so much, right? Like I had built this whole life out here and then just was like, I didn't care. I just left it, whatever. One day we were in the Cherie's office, and my mom was getting set up. My mom had an appointment for acupuncture, and Cherie was like, "Why don't you come in here?" There was like the room, another one of her practice rooms next door.
Right.
She was like, "Why don't you come in here so it's like quiet?" Because I would just like sit in there like with my mom and just
she's
like
getting it done. Yeah.
Well, so I just would sit through the
because once you have the needles in there, you sit for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. And so I just sit in the room during the treatment and whatever. And she was like, "Why don't you come in here? And then it's like quieter and whatever." And like, God bless her because she didn't tell me what she was doing. It was all like, she knew for me to do it, she had to like frame it that I was doing something for my mom.
Yeah.
That she was like, "Oh, come in here. It'll be quieter or whatever." And then I go in there and I sit in the other room and she was like, "There's just this table here. Like, why don't you just lay down?
Yeah.
Like now you can rest, like since your mom's resting." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea."
Oh God, she works magic.
She's magic. So then she starts doing a treatment on me. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm fine. And I think about it now of like me being like, "It's okay. I have everything together. It's fine. It's fine. My mom is okay. And like, she's doing so much better and I'm fine and I don't need anything and whatever." And it was just like, I was clearly not okay.
Right.
I was so not okay.
Yeah.
That like every bit of like my anxiety and like stress of this whole situation was just like bubbling out in energy of me saying how okay I was.
Absolutely.
And she just laid me down and did a treatment on me. And so then after that, I started doing weekly treatments when I took my mom in because I needed it too. Like
I don't know what it was for you, but for acupuncture, it took a few sessions, but I was having trouble doing deep sleep and I had a toddler. And like the one thing that can really help heal your Hashimoto's or a lot of autoimmune disease is a lot of restful, uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting how am I going to get that with a toddler? And there was something about like the fourth time she put like the last needle, I was so deep in sleep immediately. And she's like, "Oh, and again, she has that other room." So she took the next client over there. She let me sleep for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Because she knew that's what you needed.
I woke up. It was the first time and since then, the only time I had felt rested, like truly, truly rested. And I was like, "Oh, that's what that does." Did it do that for you? Did you feel rested?
Oh, I didn't need the sleep. I needed to reconcile that I wasn't okay, that my like that everything, I didn't have everything together and everything was perfect. So I don't remember where it was or whatever, but she was like putting needles in me and one went in and I started sobbing.
Oh.
And she just like put her hand on my shoulder and she just like stood there.
Yeah.
And it was like I had finally, because from the time the time my mom got that phone call and my initial like cry to my doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, like I sucked it up in the middle of the phone call with my doctor. I was like, "Okay, what are we doing? What's the plan of action?" Like I'm very good with execution, right? Like I'm like, give me a plan of action. I'm going to go do it. Like I don't, But feeling and emotion that like needs to be felt and released is probably not my strong suit.
Yeah, correct.
So I just needed to like not be okay for a second.
Yeah.
And so I just like laid in a acupuncture treatment room and just cried because I needed to. I needed to be like, I'm scared and I'm not okay, and I know that I'm like managing all of this stuff, but
It's
like
overwhelming. Yeah.
it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it was like, but see, that's what's so beautiful about like when you have someone like Cherie, which I call a doctor because I think she's just better than, or maybe I shouldn't call her a doctor because she's better than that.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like a goddess. But like you needed uninterrupted sleep for an hour and a half,
which is so different from what you needed, and we both got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's like her ability to really like listen and see what's going on with somebody and then give them that and execute that is just, and very different from then, my mom of like warming her kidneys and getting them, it's just like everyone had specialized care because we all need specialized care.
Yeah. Oh, and it's kind of like how you said, like her first appointment was an hour and a half. Mine was about the same. And I brought my mom with me because my mom couldn't understand that from my delivery, I got sick. She did, and my mom was in the room with the delivery. And I was like sitting there, and you could see Cherie, she was looking at my chart. And at one point it looked like her face had turned white. And she goes, "Did they not give you a blood transfusion?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "That explains why you're still really sick." She goes, "I am so sorry." And like, she almost teared up. And I like needed my mom to witness her response.
Yeah.
That I wasn't crazy, that I was very, very sick.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "I don't even understand with a TSH, how you can get up in the morning." And I was like, "I barely can, but I have a baby. What am I going to do?"
Yeah.
And so she just held space for that moment. And ever since then my mom kind of not became an advocate for me, but at least would do some research and would at least kind of be like, "Oh, something did go wrong there. I should have been paying attention to this and this and this." And it's like, you just want someone to hold space for you as an individual. It's nuts. Dude.
Yeah. Of like, what this thing happened and I need this treatment because of it.
So where's your mom at now? Where are things right now?
So
is she on dialysis? Is she?
Yes. So I will say that we did eventually decide to, but it was a long time after. I mean, we probably did our own stuff for like a year.
Okay.
And then there is. This is why I think like I don't love like black and white conversations. It's very much like you do what's right for you at the moment, right?
Right.
So at the beginning, dialysis was not right for us. Like we wanted to do, we wanted to heal her body with nutrition first, and get her in a good space, right?
Yeah.
So we did all of that. Well, then you still have kidneys and I don't know the exact function of, but when they're functioning that low, like it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
And so then
was she starting to get symptoms?
No, she wasn't getting symptoms. It's just like you're just like tired and everything's fighting everything else, right? So if you have too much phosphorus, then this is going to happen in your body. If you have too much potassium or too little potassium, then this is going to happen in your body. So what the dialysis does is basically it functions as your kidneys, right? So it's like you're doing this treatment that's like that is going into your body, cleaning the toxins like your kidneys should, but her kidneys don't have enough function to clean. So that the really, really strict nutrition work that we were doing, she could lighten up a bit.
Okay.
If we did dialysis, because then the dialysis would actually be like cleaning the toxins and doing that for her. And we decided to do the one, you can either go into centers or you can do it at home. And we do home dialysis. So she basically we hook her up to a machine at night before she goes to sleep, and then it does all this like
while she's sleeping. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's awesome. And like
this is where like I know we're we're being a little bit proponents for Eastern medicine, but then you're also like, yes, there is a place for West. It's not like that we're saying
100%.
Look, if I broke my arm, I don't want you to put, an
Yeah,
IV on it,
yeah,
or like
and don't like
a
rub. So
salve.
yeah,
Like I want you to like treat it, right?
exactly.
But
So
it's still backward. There's a lot that is backwards.
there's a lot. Well, see, this is what I don't like about so many things in our world is that you have to be in camps, right? Like it's like
Right.
this one versus this one.
It's like both, yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
So like what I love about Eastern medicine, can we not do that? Can we not teach people nutrition? This is stuff that like at nephrologists, they don't even teach you about nutrition. They're just like dialysis.
Yeah.
Okay, but if there was somebody with 30% function and you taught them about nutrition, they may never get to the point they need that, right?
Right.
But my mom was at the point that she needed that and we didn't have a kidney. And so then it was like, well, let's do this. And girl, she is like, she feels so good. She's in there are still there are good and bad days with everything, but it's like the majority are good. She has so much energy. Like she even looks like so healthy and vibrant and
oh, you showed me a photo of her on the plane, like her feet before and after Cherie.
oh
Holy God. Was it her feet?
yes.
And like one was like super swollen. You could almost not even tell they were feet. And then the other one was like, I was like, God damn, she's a magician.
So
man.
this was like that and
that was 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. Well, no. That was 3 days.
Oh, that's right. That was 3 days.
So I took a picture of my mom's feet on the plane and it was just like you said, almost unrecognizable as a foot. And swelling feet and ankles are very much like a kidney trigger and high blood pressure and all of that. She did specific acupuncture treatment 3 days later. Like my mom, like you saw the bones in her feet and all that. Like
so
it was
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not just this frou like California hippie stuff. It's like, no, you look at it and it looks, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's we still don't have a kidney. So she is and we're looking for
You're like a year in?
We're about a year in and we're looking for like a transplant center that we want to like do the actual like transplant surgery. And so we visited some in Tennessee and we're figuring that out. But that's where we are in the process now.
Great.
But she's like happy and healthy and we get to spend so much time together and do all these things. As soon as I got back, I know we both love football.
Yeah.
Like, so before I even got back to Tennessee, I like bought Titans season tickets and my mom and I went to every single game last season.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is somebody they gave 2 weeks to.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks to live.
Yeah,
That's
right?
insane.
Like a year and a half before that, like was given like 2 weeks to live, maybe a month. And then, year and a half later, like we're rocking out at every single Titans game together. And she's the best person in my world. And I am like, I regret nothing of
caretaking,
Yeah.
All right.
But caretakers, take care of yourself.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of them that are so depleted because nobody's taking care of them.
You don't even have the energy to think about what you need.
Yeah.
You don't have the energy to think about you. So like, that's why Cherie was so instrumental for all of us.
All of us. All of our friends are Cherie followers, man.
I know.
All right. So this is going to be a weird question. This is the last question.
Okay.
What is the funniest lesson you learned? All of it. I'm like, how do you like, this is the one that would stump me.
I think it's that no matter like how okay any of us think that we are, you're not okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's okay. We're never okay. And we're not like I mean, you know me very well. Yeah. Like I have it together. Yeah. Like I'm a very like I have it together. I can no.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not okay. None of us are okay. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I think if anything, this whole thing taught me that like you can't plan for anything. None of us knows what's gonna happen. So like all of the especially like entertainment people like us, like there's so much stuff that like we worry about, like we have no control over anything. You can't plan anything. Who cares about anything? Go be a good person, take care of yourself, and have fun, because nothing matters. Nothing matters. This is not, if we did this a year ago, I never would have been like, I am literally living like my best life, living bi-coastally in Nashville and Los Angeles.
Never would have said it. Yeah.
I never would have known that this was going to happen, and it's the best thing to ever happen to me.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want my mom to be sick, but like what happened out of that is the best, the best existence I could hope for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know if that's funny. Is it inspirational?
Yes, that's what I want. I want both. And
that
hit both of it. Thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness, I love you. I would go anywhere for you.
I love you.
I love it. Make it funny.
I am. I'm just going to add fart sounds.
Would you please?
Yeah,
just
that's how we do it.
Add a bunch of fart sounds while I'm talking so that it's funny.
It'll make it look like you're cursing, but it's just fart noises.
Great. Right. I love that. I'm that's my kind of humor.
Yeah. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, don't forget to follow us on @TheFunnyThingIs podcast on all the socials, NicoleComedy.com. And as always, follow, like, and subscribe. Bye.